Now back to campaign 2016, and Jim DeFede is with us, the host of Facing South Florida. We are the day after the New Hampshire primary, and I guess the big winners, of course, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. But let's talk about our Florida candidates for a moment.
Okay.
Jeb Bush needed to do really well in New Hampshire. He came in fourth. Marco Rubio went in with some momentum and did even worse than Jeb Bush. How do these two guys stand right now in the field for Republicans?
Jeb Bush did well enough. Jeb Bush's main concern was finishing ahead of Marco Rubio, and it's okay if he finished behind John Kasich, who ended up second, because he believes he has a much better operation, and he should have a much better operation, Jeb Bush does, in South Carolina. That's always been friendly country. So he's headed, his theory, and the folks in his campaign I've talked to say they're headed in the right direction. They did not do well in Iowa. They've done better in New Hampshire. They're hoping to do even better in South Carolina, and if they can build on that, they still believe they have that track to be the mainstream candidate that goes forward.
Haven't the Bush people been saying this for months and months and
but we're
months?
Seeing it now.
We're heading in the right direction.
But we are actually
He's
seeing
gaining
it now.
traction.
But well, we're seeing it in the sense that he did terrible in Iowa. He did better in New Hampshire, and he set up in South Carolina. So and you've got still $40–50 million of super PAC money backing you up. It's who is the mainstream candidate at this point? There is no mainstream candidate, and so that's why they think they're still in the hunt for it.
Okay, well, a lot of people thought that perhaps Marco Rubio was taking his slot as the mainstream candidate, especially after doing better than expected in Iowa. Last night was a bust for him.
Last night may be the worst night for Marco Rubio in this campaign, and there's a lot of people who believe that Rubio's campaign is on fumes at this point, because you have to sort of look and see where does he go from here. His strategy was finish third in Iowa, second New Hampshire, first in South Carolina. Marco Rubio has always had a difficult path to the nomination. He's had to thread a very fine needle between the conservative Tea Party movement and the mainstream folks and be perfect. He wasn't perfect. He admitted it last night. How is he going to do in South Carolina? Well, we're going to find out, but he's going to have to make it up in the debate. But, they're coming up on Saturday on CBS. But at the same time, you realize he's got a lot of people ahead of him who have momentum, including Ted Cruz, including Donald Trump. If he finishes third or fourth in South Carolina, it's going to be a problem.
Real quickly, on the Democrat side, Bernie Sanders with a big night last night, 20-plus point win over Hillary Clinton. Does his campaign have legs moving into these other states?
Absolutely. He's putting together all of the elements of the Obama coalition, except for one so far, which is the African-American community. If he can begin to make inroads in the African-American community, he can do real well. Here's the most amazing statistic from last night with Bernie Sanders.
Go ahead.
Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton with women. 11 points. He did better with women, not just young women, all women. More women voted for Bernie Sanders, 55–44, over Hillary Clinton. That's astounding.
Wow. All right, Jim, you got to pack your bags because you're heading out of town, heading north a little bit. CBS 4's Jim DeFede heading to South Carolina for Saturday's Republican debate. You can look for Jim's reports starting Friday on CBS 4 News. And, of course, that debate is on CBS Saturday night at 9.